Alright, Graffiti, let's see what you got. Leveling people up is hard. It's hard for a bunch of reasons. You gotta be good at leveling people up, you gotta be good at the thing that you're trying to level people up in, and they gotta want it. They gotta put in that work, you know? But it's so worth it. I've gotten to see so many people get so much better in the stream. Not because I'm telling them how to get better, but because they're putting in the work and they're coming in here and they're thinking about shit. And they're asking people, and they're talking about things with each other. And that's how you get better. You get better at fighting games by playing them. You also get better by talking about them. And yeah, shout out to Christmas Jam in the middle of April. Ooh. Yeah, you need to know how to contest teleport. So it depends on your situation. Blitz is always a solid option. You can do it on Wake Up. In order to beat it, I need to basically read that you're going to blitz and go for empty jump low. And that opens me up to Wake Up throw, right? So Blitz is a solid kind of like general option. In specific cases, like if you can 6P with Sin. So everyone in this game can do a faultless defense OS by pressing like 6P and like heavy, right? And what you'll get is you do this in situations where you're not sure if they're going to cross you up or not, because either you'll get a 6P if they went on that side, or you'll get faultless, right? So either you block or you get the anti-air. It's pretty handy. It's very situational. You can't use it all the time, but you can definitely use it in like neutral situations or like block pressure situations where I do some shit, make you block, and then H teleport. Ooh, fuck, drop that. Cool. A little bit of lag in there. I've been lucky in my life to have lots of instructors in various things who are all, they were all really good in some ways and kind of in other ways. And so I've gotten to see a lot of educational styles. And with y'all, I get to practice on one that I think works for me and for Guilty Gear. But y'all are my lab rats here as well. Like, I learn by talking things through with you. So thank you for all the opportunities. Trust me, like, if I were an Obi-Wan in you know, fighting game teaching, like, I've definitely had my fucking Anakin Skywalkers, right? The students who I fucked up, like, the first person I ever really tried to teach fighting games to was my freshman year roommate in college. Dude's name is Vince. He's a high school teacher now. He's like married and has a kid and a dog. He's like the most wholesome guy, Vincent Chen. I taught him how to play CBS2 by just teaching him to pick Cami Blancas Sagat and pressing big buttons. And the first time I took him to an arcade, there was a lady there, like a young mom, who was at the arcade with her kids, and her like, I gotta be like 2, 3, 4-year-old kid, just trying to have some fun. It wasn't even like a bump in arcade, it was James Games in Upland. And my friend saw her at the CBS2, Vince saw her at CBS2, and was like, I'm gonna play her. And I was like, on one hand, I taught you, so sure. He fucked her up. He was ruthless. He fucking dizzied the shit out of her with K-Group Sagat, just pressing buttons all day. And in that moment, I swore never to teach anyone else how to play fighting games. So yeah, I've had plenty of mistakes. Yep, that fucking happens, Sarv. It's the risk we take, right? When you teach someone how to fight, you're putting some responsibility in their hands, but you're also taking some responsibility into your own, right? Irene and I have talked about this before in the context of kids, right? Irene will be like, man, we're not planning on having kids. But if we did, we both agree that if our kid turned out to be like some fucked up serial killer, we'd have to go over after them on our own, right? Because it's our responsibility. We may not have been the ones to like I don't, you know, who can say how much the parents can really do in terms of fucking up a kid? But if they're out there doing that shit, at least for Irene and I, like, we would be like, it's our job, you know? Doesn't matter what's legal, this is what's right. And yes, I have thought about this as like a comic pitch or something. It would be super sick. Woo! What up, Cecil? Yeah, the tunes are nice and reflective, contemplating the realities of parenthood and the responsibilities. Shout out to Graffiti playing Xmas Jam. Tarkus, absolutely. So Tarkus is asking, if you have a bad habit around a move, is it a good idea to force yourself to play without for a couple weeks? A couple weeks is a lot, but like, I have a bad habit around using the Rekkas too much, so I'm trying to actively train myself to stop using it as much, right? At least in the situations where it's kind of counterproductive. I've also had this problem with Chips 2D. It's a good-ass button, it's real fast, it hits low, it's kind of invincible at the end. Like, I use this way too much in neutral, especially in matchups where I shouldn't. And so, for that specific thing, that specific issue, one of the things that I've done is I stop holding a finger over 2D all the time. Usually it's a couple situations. It's like I press it when they're too close. So I try and figure out the situations where they're too close and just don't hold my finger over that button. And if it takes longer for your hand to get there, then you'll stop pressing it. Yeah, Ganguro Jam is like, that's like inner jam. That's her heart. Hi, Kinako.
Jelly jam colors.
Oh, nice burst. Yeah, Cecil points out, Pat and Irene's child wouldn't go down easy though, and you two would be old at this point. I don't care how old I get, if we have a hypothetical kid and I can never not beat them in hand-to-hand combat one-on-one, much less two-on-one, because Irene's a fucking badass herself, like, then I probably deserve to go out. Real talk. We're like Heihachi and Kazumi. All right, like,
Oh my God,
if our kids are big enough and strong enough that we can't like take them by the ear and send them to bed with no dinner, like, no. That's what, so Kacho, see, this is the problem, right? Throwing them off the cliff, like, or you know, off into the volcano or whatever, like, that's probably what made some of the kids so fucked up. I'm not trying to have fucked up kids so I can whoop their ass. They'll awaken the Miller gene. See, yeah, we don't want that. The cat is Frankie is Kuma. No, I think Frankie is definitely Kazumi's tiger.
Yeah, exactly.
Irene can call like her and Kinako out for assist attacks. That'd be fucking sick. Alright, let's see if Graffiti does his run up super. Whew. Alright, well, no run-up super. That's good. They'll turn from Miller Light to Miller Heavy. Fuck, what up, Kango? Graffiti does the run-up kick super. Yeah, Puffball super is dope, but I wouldn't do that run-up against Chip. I would do it meaty against Chip. Woo! Nice throw. Nah. Dude, Puffball! That was supposed to be Puffball. Puffball would have been good. When you have full meter and you got me knocked down, might as well go for meaty Puffball. What we got here? Oh, Avatar Z, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the crew, homie. Ooh, nice buttons. What up, UGK for life? Man, I copped Mortal Kombat and I played it for like 20 minutes and I'm so not into NRS games, it's not even funny. It's just not my shit. I know it's some people's shit, but it's not mine. Alright, Graffiti, let's call this the last round here. Show me what you got. Get in that ass, homie. Yeah, I'm not into the NRS aesthetic. I know it's their house style, but I just don't think I like it. I'm also just, like, I'm old. I don't need that gore shit in my life anymore. Not like that. NRS games don't really use hit stop so much. Alright, GG's Graffiti. I'm gonna go ahead and open up the lobby to everyone, and then I'll get over to your feedback. And then we'll listen to more of Lonely Rolling Star later. Alright, so the lobby is open. It's called West Coast. If you want to get in here and get some games, please do. Graffiti, let's talk about that set. So, you are, as always, making progress. Today I saw you doing a lot more run-in buttons, which was really good. What up, Diamond? Good to see you. I saw you doing a run-up 5K, run-up 6H, run-up far slash. Like, that's awesome. Now what you need to do with those buttons is make sure you're pressing them at the right time. A lot of times I was able to backdash, right? So learning to vary the timing, how long do you run, and then when do you press the button, is the thing that you got to get used to next. So, like, again, you can go back and watch those replays, and you can see all the times that I backdashed and was able to counter poke or whatever. So yeah, you, like, go and look for those opportunities, like, basically learn to vary your timing, right? The thing about fighting games, especially Guilty Gear, is that you can't, like, every button, there's a lag in time between when you press the button and when a hitbox comes out, right? It's just like shooting a gun in a video game, right? And so you, the thing about Guilty Gear and every fighting game, this is especially noticeable in Guilty Gear. In Guilty Gear, everyone moves like they're on ice skates all the time, right? They got momentum conservation. They don't stop quite as quickly or as cleanly as other characters do. And so you need to get good at aiming your attacks to come out so you put that hitbox not where they are when you press the button, but where they will be when the attack comes out and goes active, right? So if I'm running in at you, you need to press a button so that it hits me like when I get into range of it. I shouldn't already be in range of it when you press the button, right? So you have to just tweak your timing a little bit to learn how to catch me. So that's one thing, right? You're doing a lot of the right things in neutral. You're going and you're pressing buttons, which is good. But you need to be paying attention to kind of your timing and your positioning so that you don't whiff. If you're whiffing a lot, it means you're probably pressing the button too early. And if you're getting stuffed a lot, it means you're pressing the button too late. So you can go through those replays and you can see when you got stuffed and when you whiffed the button, and you can kind of, from there, you can go ahead and adjust yourself. You know, oh, what I'm doing is I'm pressing the button too early. I should be pressing it later. Or maybe these buttons I'm pressing too late. I need to press them earlier, right? It's just, that's a good habit to get into, of diagnosing why your shit isn't working when it's not working. The second thing is that I see you often end up in situations where you kind of yield the floor to me, right? Maybe you think I'm going to do something, and so you just sit there and block and wait. That is not how defense in Guilty Gear works. Like, you don't want to be in a situation where you're waiting for me to do something that you can react to, and you don't have another action in the chamber, right? So as an example, and I see a lot of people do this, not just you, so hopefully it's useful for them too. What people do is, if they're baiting the Dragon Punch, like a Wake Up Dragon Punch, they will go ahead and just run up at you and crouch block. And they'll crouch block until you do something, right? They're not baiting the Dragon Punch, they're baiting Wake Up Everything. And what they're hoping for is a Dragon Punch, but no matter what, they've already resigned themselves to not taking a turn. If you're baiting a Dragon Punch in this game, what you want to do is hold block during the reversal period, right? So Dragon Punch, I think it hits on like frame 4 or something. It's frame 1 invincible, right? So there's the time that the character is knocked down, and then there's the reversal window where they can actually do the move, and then 4 frames after that, that's when the Dragon Punch would actually hit, right? You want to block for that timing. And then after that happens, you want to press a button. And what will happen is, either you blocked the Dragon Punch because you guessed right, and now you're in block stun, you can't do anything. Or you press a button 4 frames late because they woke up expecting you to do something. And you are going to do something, but you wanted to make sure that the window to block a potential Dragon Punch had passed before you do something, right? That is a very simple option select. You're doing the same thing, right? You're staggering your timing. You're going for a late meaty button, right? Not meaty. You're going for a late button. And the reason you're going for that late button is because you think they're going to do something, but if they don't do something, you want to take your turn. And that's how you should be thinking. Every time you pause and you wait for me to do something, the way you should be thinking about it is, I'm going to wait because I think he's going to do something in this very specific moment. But if he doesn't, I'm ready to take my turn. You just press a button a little bit later, right? That's how you want to think about it. That way, if you were right about the first guess, then you block the Dragon Punch and you're fine. And if you're wrong, then you get a chance to take a turn 4 frames later and you're probably still fine, right? You cover more cases that way. And you're never surrendering the momentum. That's the important thing, right? It is better to be wrong about one of those cases. Like maybe they had the godlike read and did the late Dragon Punch. That's fine. That's a much more specific read on their part than yours was on your part, right? You want to be optimizing for situations where like you give them room to hang themselves, but you don't wait all day. So work on that shit. Give you yourself like backup plans, right? Be ready to do shit besides just be right about the guess, right? You do that, and then all of a sudden you're going to be giving up less turns, which means I'm going to have to fight harder to get them back from you, right? So please do that shit, and it'll make you a much better player. Thank you so much for coming through, homie. It's always a pleasure. I know we got these lobbies here real quick, so I'm going to hop in there, but first I got to get a snack. So we'll put on a little bit more of Harvest while I take this short commercial break.